the ground announcer. Now, this has been a talking point we've covered already in the lead up. We discussed the Lions Foreign Legion and, how Australia have got to look inside our backyard when it comes to players from the Pacific, and we're on the record as saying that. And also kind of agreeing with Danny Kerr that maybe these guys don't feel the same passion as, Lions kids who've grown up with the Lions over there. And that's a fair point for Danny to make, certainly, because he's a Lion, he's a proud Englishman. And
his point, not ours.
Yeah, exactly. But what I will say, Christy, is that while it's good fun, it's also an absolute embarrassment for Australian rugby that Mack Hansen and Sione Tuipulotu are playing not only for Ireland and captain of Scotland, respectively, but now touring with this Lions team. In all likelihood, will line up in the first test against the Wallabies in Brisbane. And how on earth Australia, the talent identification, the pathways, the high-performance management from Rugby Australia, Melbourne Rebels, and less so the Brumbies, how they let these guys go? Because, having them line up against Australia, against the Wallabies in this situation is just, it's heartbreaking, because you look at what these guys could be doing, particularly Tuipulotu, who plays in the midfield, which is not an area of strength for Australia. There's maybe 4, good centres in the country. This guy goes away to Scotland, becomes captain, takes his brother with him as well, and is now turning up for the Lions and will be a dominant force in that midfield. And how he couldn't even get a start down there, really, for the Rebels. He played a handful of games. So who was making the decisions down there is absolutely just gobsmacking that this Tuipulotu in particular. Hansen, I know, had some quality wingers there in front of him at the Brumbies, but was shopped around, wasn't he, to other Aussie franchises. No one jumped at him. And while we're all having a good laugh about, he's Aussie-born Mack Hansen and Australia-raised Sione Tuipulotu. And then in our own backyard, we're missing the point that, more fool us, because these guys should be playing for the Wallabies.
Brucey, great point. And it was so good that we would, before we, every now and again, we talk for 5-10 minutes about what we're going to talk about on the podcast. And I raised that exact point, and you said I've led my column, and I said bugger, because I wish that, I had already had the time to write it myself. It's an extremely good point. And people like Laurie Fisher, and we asked about, last Wednesday when we spoke to him, and he said, it's great that these guys have really made a fist of it. It is great, but it's still, you're missing the point, I think. We all love the fact that Sione and Mack Hansen have gone over and kicked goals and got better and better. But was he sold the dream? Was he told, no, we want you, we see you being a Wallaby, we see you, we want you to be at fullback or wing, this is how you're going to get to the Wallabies, this is the proper remuneration that you deserve. I don't think that dream has been sold correctly.